ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. The current situation where we have seen the murder of assassination of main activists in Punjab. Firstly Deep Sidhu and now Sidhu Moosewala, and we've seen assassinations of prominent kabaddi players, and we've seen targeted torture of other youth and assassination of other youth, and in general the Indian state is trying to bring the Hindutva policy through the means of force and chaos in Punjab. Now, one thing we have to understand, the current situation and what we are being told is a complete fallacy. The reality on the ground is very, very simple. As first and foremost, what happened in regards to Sidhu and his entire case and what exactly happened. Now, we have been told by the media, the Indian media outlets and India in general, that it was due to gang conflict. There is no such thing. You need to understand, look at the entire scenario and what's happening, what happened on that day and how it happened, and by the means he was assassinated. First and foremost, let's look at all the reports. If you put all the reports together of how the attack on Sidhu happened on that day, they used his smartphone to track his location. So we have people who are capable of using, high level tracking software, first and foremost. And secondly, they used copied number plates, and that's another signature move of Indian intelligence, and another signature move of a intelligence operation. And thirdly, they used rifles, they used armor-piercing rounds, and they used automatic guns, AN-94, a Russian-made assault rifle, which is sold to the Indians, special forces. And if there was from the rounds they use, from the weapons they use, these are weapons and rounds of the NSG Commandos, or the Black Operation Commandos in India. And these NSG Commandos have been carrying out multiple cases. When we saw the Biadbi case in the Harmandir Sahib, the guy who tried to behead the Granthi in Harmandir Sahib, that guy was another recruit of the NSG Commando. And now we see this operation with Sidhu, and then before that we saw Deep Sidhu's case. Exactly. Now, as far as these the Indian state, these death squads which are being sent by the Indian state, it's part of their operations. It's part of their operation. Accidents, assassinations, murder, many other kind of sabotage. In general, chaos. They want to create order out of chaos, or they think they want to create order out of chaos, but the situation is much more dire, because the overall agenda remains Hindutva. Now, what happened with Sidhu's case is it was a military operation. They tracked him using his smartphone. They surrounded him like a military operation from all sides. They shot out the tires. They used armor-piercing rounds, and they used military issued weapons. If you just put these facts together, these just these facts on their own takes out all the so-called gangs. For gangs to acquire this amount of training, this amount of personnel, and this amount of firepower, it's not possible. There is only one party capable of doing this. And secondly, we have first-hand witnesses who clearly say that what they saw was people in balaclavas and military get-up who chased the car, shot out, and then they disappeared. They used copied number plates. That's another sign of intelligence operation. So this story you have been told again and again of X, Y, and Z and gangsters is complete nonsense. The reality remains. It is the Indian death squads which they have sent in Punjab, and the implementation of Hindutva is being done today by the means of force, and that's what we are facing today. Every aspect of this case, Sidhu Moosewala's case, is an intelligence operations. From the armor-piercing rounds to the automatic machine guns to the way the killers, the death squad moved, the way they came in, the way they used the fake number plates, and the way they disappeared. This is not a work of some amateur. This is not a work of some amateurs who don't know what they're doing. Some gun-toting gangsters who have no idea what they're doing. This is a operation which is being done by professionals who have been fully trained and know what they're doing. Otherwise, to pull off an operation like this with a precision like this is impossible by some Bollywood watching gun-toting so-called gangsters. The reality in Punjab, or the so-called gangsters they keep on telling you about, is the situation is so dire in Punjab. The police is torturing, murdering, raping to a degree that the youth which get involved or get targeted by the police for political reasons, they end up having no other option but to start defending themselves, and then they start calling them gangsters, and then you see false encounters. That's the reality of that situation. So we must understand, we must reject the enemy's propaganda. The enemy's propaganda is that Punjab is Sikhs and Punjab are self-destructing. Sikhs are killing Sikhs. That's the main propaganda. That Sikhs can't maintain and manage Punjab. That's what they're trying to portray to people, to the world. And that India is very civilized. Signs of their civilization and signs of their civilities all over the news. They want to knock down Taj Mahal, Qutub Minar, Jamia Masjid. They want to knock down everything. They're threatening to kill over 200 million people. That's that's civil. That's peaceful. The reality is that state is crumbling. Today, the Indian state is crumbling. And they want to take us down with them. There are mass food shortages in the Indian state. United Nations has already warned that political situation in that country could lead to millions of people starving. This is the reality of that state. The reason Punjab is being targeted today is, firstly, this is the only place in India where there is resistance against this fascist Hindutva ideology. The reason they targeted these young activists, these number of Sikh young activists, is for one reason, and that is intimidation, so they can shut us up. What we have to realize, we do not need to fear this government. We need to speak up against this government throughout the world and tell them what they are doing. We are not fucking Indians. We have nothing to do with that country. We are our own people, we have our own identity, and we have nothing to do with this fascist state of the Indian Union. The only political agenda that we have today is we want right to self-determination through a referendum, which is going throughout the world, and we want an official referendum in Punjab where we can decide where Punjab and the people of Punjab want to live. We don't want to live in this barbaric land where the government has only one policy, and that is fascism. This is fascism being pushed down your throat. You must understand. These are not just killings. These are attempts by the government to wipe out an idea, to wipe out a civilization, a wipe out a culture, a wipe out a people, so they can implement Hindutva. That's what you need to understand. This is what's happening here. This is what's happening there today. Be in no doubt that this state, this Indian state, is a fascist state. This idea you've been told again and again about, peace in that state. And another thing you must understand, this so-called idea of left-wing cover of Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann is a complete fallacy. Complete fallacy. These people don't represent anything. People do not need to lose focus. The reality of these people are they are merely selected puppets by the Indian regime to justify Hindutva, nothing else. Bhagwant Mann is failure. Kejriwal is a failure. He has openly said he backs Hindutva many times. Hindutva is his ideal and his political policy. He has watched over the mass murder of Muslims in Delhi last year. This year, there were attacks on the Muslims in Delhi, and he just looked all over it like nothing happened. This guy is willing to do the same thing with you. You need to realize the reality, and we need to keep on. We need to keep on fighting against this fascism, because we are the only source of opposition against this fascism. And I call upon on all my brothers and sisters all over the world. Indian embassy is a propaganda tool, is a mouthpiece of that fascist Indian state. We must oppose that propaganda tool everywhere, in each and every single country. We must protest these so-called embassies of this fascist state everywhere, so the world will know what these people really stand for is not any kind of civility. They stand for fascism. And we need the world to understand that what's happening today, that these actions, the assassination of Deep Sidhu, the assassination of Sidhu Moosewala, they are done for political reasons. They are done to intimidate a people, to scare a people into submission, into slavery. That's what they want. They want you to get on your knees and accept Hindutva. That's what they want. And they want to use so-called left-wing cover from Bhagwant and Kejriwal. You need to be very clear that what these people are doing, what they are doing in Kashmir, what they're doing in everywhere else, they're doing it to you as well. This is Hindutva being implemented through force. The reason they're targeting these activists is they want to take out any opposition, any source of opposition or resistance, anybody who can speak up against their fascism before they start the mass murder. My brothers and sisters, we need to start fighting these people now. We need to get our voice stronger, especially target their embassies all over the world, so the world knows what's happening in India is fascism. This is the state which stands for fascism, and their embassies and their propaganda tool. Embassies are the propaganda tool of that state, and you must protest against these embassies. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.